Again, when family's talking, trust me, listen. Regardless if you believe them or not, you'll listen.
And their truth is there. There's something that happened on Facebook the other day, and we weren't being attacked or anything like that, but they were talking about how we flip flop, and what I said was that what we flip flop on is simply our opinion. It's got nothing to do with the information that we're providing. And we say very clearly, we can't verify this information. The only thing that we can verify is that it is coming from people who say this is the truth. This is their truth. Of course, we can't verify the information, neither can they. But they're sharing us. They're sharing with us, so we're sharing with you.
I don't get this part right now, to be honest with you. But one thing I do get, generally speaking, when the term their truth, my truth, I cannot stand this term. And I'll tell you exactly why, but you should probably know why, right? Because it's just, there's truth and there's non-truth. There's an anger, there are feelings. But I don't know what she's talking about by the way.
We're not saying that this is the gospel truth, this is what happened in period, the end of story. Of course not.
I don't know what she's referring
to. But we're giving you the information as we can.
It's like anything, right? You put out the information, you look at it, right? Again, we're putting it out there for you guys, and we've been blessed to have people speaking with us. Belinda, Daniel, and Derwin now, and we've had Logan talking.
Okay, that last name, forget that last name, people. Get that last name out of your memory that she mentioned, okay? Please. This is, by the way, 3 days ago. And I want to see these messages.
On TikTok and stuff like that. So again, blessed for the extra information or insight. And then just like anybody, right? We're looking at it going, wait, what? And then something changes, a new information, and then you're like, okay, wait, what?
So one thing I like a lot. Okay, there's a reason that I never even mentioned that name and never even given that story the time of day. Not even the time of second. So at least what they are doing is telling you we don't know for sure if that is, let's move on. I hope she's moving on.
So our opinion is just our opinion itself. It's our kind of looking at the information, and then it kind of changes. And then I'm always willing, like you would literally, right, be kind of like roadblocked if you literally didn't look at all the information. And then as information comes in, it shifts. It can easily shift to what you're thinking.
Okay.
So we're just like anybody else that way. Like, we're not so special that we know the answers. Of course, if different information comes out and then it, adds to the whole thing, sorry if we flip flop like a fish. It's not really rare that I flip flop, but this case is
yeah. I mean, there's absolutely no. And at the beginning, for the longest time, we could.
So when I hear a story that makes no sense, I can tell very, very quickly if it's BS. The same when I heard the green hoodie claim, right? Or the green hoodie thing with the Sebastian Rogers, the Texas Roadhouse, that supposedly something important took place. Nothing took place there. Nothing of value. Nothing important. It's all fabrication. It's one of those lies that's been told so many times, people actually believe it. People actually believe they saw Katie Proudfoot give something to somebody in a parking lot. Whenever I see that type of frenzy and people just idiotically accepting something as truth, and somebody pushing this narrative very puts a lot of energy into pushing this type of narrative, I immediately know something is wrong here. And there is not one, image showing anything that's significant. So in this particular case, I said I don't even know if I want to include all this in my video, but it's a very general thing, guys. And there's a reason that I don't get into things. And I don't want to dignify this claim from a so-called uncle, or if I don't even care what it is all about. I'm not going to dignify it. Yes, people have asked me, could you please analyze this person? No, I cannot. Yes, I could, but I already did in my head. And the answer is no, pay no attention to it. And don't pay attention too much to anybody who, it's a waste of time, man. It's just a waste of time. What's important, and I always push you guys towards the solution. In the Sebastian Rogers case, the next step would be the properties of the Bauer success. And the next step here would be asking the general public to check their camera footage from May 1 to May 2 and give them the description of the vehicles on the properties of Daniel that were available. I don't know if Malehya's car was running, but if it was, give that description as well. And ask every single person in Nova Scotia, can you spot this vehicle at any point in time, May 1 to May 2?
Couldn't get a read on Daniel. And to me, my own opinion now is based on previous experiences with men who are like this, and just my opinion, but men who are like this, who seem to be good with their words, and they're very
almost
the victim complex, like I said before. It's very for a nurturing person, you just want to help. You just want to be like, I was ready to offer this kid a job. You know what I mean? Like, I felt so bad for him. I was like, I'm going to bring him to Alberta. I'm going to put him to work. And, you know.
This is the fastest way to make your car shine like new in under a minute. This groundbreaking car spray will make your car look brand.
I'm sorry, but and it's going to take a lot of information for me to come around to a different way of thinking.
Well, I was going to say, I'm just always willing to go, yes, Ken. I'm just really always willing to look at everything. And if it means that I have to change my mind 5 times, I will, if that's the way it goes. Because at the end of
the flip-flopping thing is not a bad thing. I mean, I like flexibility. But I don't go fast into any direction, you know what I mean? I sort of let it come to me. So when a lot of people get, people who spread false information, they often do it in a way that it relies on you getting excited over, meaning you're going to share it without really necessarily knowing what you are sharing. That is the purpose, really. To get something out there as fast as possible and push it really, really hard. Not obviously, but push it in a way that before you know it, everybody has heard about it. But this is just something that I felt like I needed to reply to real quickly. And that's when I discovered the power of muting people on Twitter. Because when you're surrounded with people who constantly share bullshit, like there is a pattern there, right? There are certain people, like when something really important comes up, they miss it. They never share anything good. When it's complete bullshit or something that's not really or repetitive, oh, they're the first one. So there are certain people, of course, when I see, I realize I don't even pay attention to anything that they post, you know what I mean? because, but anyways, I protect your mind. That's what I'm saying. Let's get to it.
Today, I'm not going to solve the case, right? I'm just here to put out the information.
Now, you
We're
never
just here
know.
to create awareness.
You never know what you get to.
The RCMP and whoever has information, that's what's going to solve the case.
We don't know. We don't know that. Somebody watching this video may be the one who's going to say, you know what? Let me check my footage and let me find out what kind of vehicles I might be looking for and might be able to see something. You never know. You never know. You told me at the 44-minute mark it's going to be, so it's in a minute and a half more.
Like I said, just use a little common sense on that. I'm not going to come to your channel anymore because last week you talked good about Daniel. This week you're not, and next week you are, and this week, get over it. Get over yourself. It's about...
Okay, that was me, right? Okay.
Jack and Lily, to be honest with you. So with that being said, you guys, what I wanted to do was go over these messages. Okay, so this is I just took out the conversation, the points that I wanted to share.
Okay, good. And again, I have been sent these messages, these screenshots before, but I want to hear the context.
As I'm putting this together, and, in a sense, I know whoever else has been in an abusive relationship, you can just raise your hand right now, press 1 in the chat and stuff like that, because I've been in a controlling relationship. And if there's one thing that we have talked about, it's that Daniel seems to always kind of be the hero in what he's saying about himself.
Okay.
And that Malehya is, I don't want to talk bad about her, he's saying, but, but...
Show me something good he said about her.
Right. So we have to look at it fairly, bottom line, right? We have to still look at it fairly from all angles of it. Doesn't mean that Daniel's telling the truth. Doesn't mean Malehya's telling the truth, or either of them are telling the truth. Just means we have to...
Neither of them are telling the truth. Both of them know that if any of them tells the truth, their daughter will be taken away from both of them. Neither of them. And that's what Malehya told Belinda. I've analyzed it. That's what's said in that message. What she's worried about. To protect Meadow from CPS. Belinda asked, whom do you protect? Whom are you saying you want to protect Meadow from? She probably thought maybe she's going to say Daniel, but she said CPS. And with that, I know why she is not telling on Daniel. Because whatever role she had would get Meadow taken away from her. Maybe she allowed something to happen. Maybe it was just, maybe it is something significant enough. It is something significant, people. That's why Malehya will not spill the beans. Even if it was Daniel who did something. And I've seen this question several times. Where people think, Daniel did something. Daniel is the one. Daniel is the one, but why wouldn't Malehya tell on him? And this is why. Because she doesn't want to lose her daughter. Period. And that's it. It's as simple as that.
To still look at it fairly, because, these are his words, right? So when something gets put down in words, just like the interviews, you say what you said. If you said what you said, then you have to back up what you said. And if you made a mistake and something like that, then you retract and say, yeah, I said it this way, but that's not what I meant to say. So that's what I'm saying. If he wants a platform just to kind of go from A to Z and tell his truth, and because he keeps saying over and over again that he doesn't lie, he speaks the truth.
I didn't know they say the Z in Canada, like in Britain. They don't say Z. And it's really strange that I have so much. By the way, what do they use more in Canada? The metric system or inches and feet and gallons? And I see like both used equally much, right? And let's get to it.
And blah, blah, blah. So if you do.
Your father died and you're sad. Come and.
Then, bring your ass up on up here, Daniel, and say your truth. And we'll be fair, right? We're not here to attack you. It's just speak your truth. That's it.
And by the way, I know he won't talk to me, but I would do the same thing. If I was to interview Daniel, I have a few questions ready in the back of my mind. And I wouldn't attack him at all. I wouldn't put him on the hot seat. But my second video, where I'm going to analyze my own interview with him, I will be real. I'm real with my questions already, but they'll be very open-ended, and I will allow him to speak. I won't call it his truth. I will let him share his side. By the way, I just saw where did I see this? Oh, the Sherry Papini thing, yeah. Recently, she gave an interview to somebody, and she said something. She wants to. The first sentence, she was already deceptive. And she said she wants to share her side. She didn't say, I want to tell you the truth. I want to clear things up. I share my side. So she's already telling me her intention is to put herself in a better light, that she has nothing to dispute what is being told about her, the accusations. She has nothing. But she wants people to see the situation from her angle. She wants to do damage control. She wants to do reputation management. I was ready to watch the whole thing. But after that sentence, click, that was it. I already know that none of what she's going to say is going to be important. Nothing new she will have to say. Because she would tell us, I'm going to tell you the truth. What they said about me was a lie, and here's why. But she only said she wants to bring her side of the story. No thanks.
I wanted to go over like the parts, just because some people missed those new texts yesterday. So I'm just going to start off with these texts here from Charmaine's and Daniel's initial conversation.
Okay.
And don't get us wrong, we know he's talking with other people, and he can do whatever the heck he wants. Or this is just a conversation that he was having with Charmaine that day. So one of the things he says, I only wish I could tell you the fine details surrounding Malehya and her family and the disappearance. I'll let you know that Malehya was set to stay with me and the baby to leave with my cousin, which is Logan. But 5 minutes alone with her mother after the first search briefing, Malehya completely changed. She couldn't even look at me. An hour before this, Malehya told RCMP she felt the happiest and safest with me. It was a different Malehya. Then he goes on to say, I will add some more info to the story.
He's telling us a story, people.
We lived in Truro. We moved so that she could get away from her mother. Okay, Malehya couldn't stand being around her anymore. Malehya asked me many times recently in the last few months if she should cut off all ties to the mother, basically, of her life. I said, no, that's your mother. Okay. Lily always tried to take her backpack outside because it was her play backpack, and my daughter is 8 because he has 2 other children from a previous relationship.
That's why he remembered to take it.
With Christy, and to do that, and all the kids would play treasure and hunt outside. Malehya will put Lily and Jack on the back burner right here. So here we go. So he's basically saying, no, I said, that's your mother, right? So, no, all that bad stuff, but that's your mother. And then he's saying, Malehya put Jack and Lily on the back burner when Meadow was born. I taught Lily and Jack everything from potty training, getting soothers from their mouths. I did everything for them. Lily and Jack called me dad and came to me for everything, never Malehya. She had no control over the kids, and they were wild with her and with me, listened, and were well behaved. I promised myself I'd always be there for Malehya, and I'm holding that promise.
He said always for Malehya. What about the kids?
Okay, I think, and I go to this one. I just took out the context that I wanted to show. Obviously, the things that are said about Malehya, the things that he's saying about himself, and the things that he's saying about Cindy Murray. Okay, because this is what he's put out there. So I'm not being negative towards Malehya. I love her, but I never lie because that's just not me. I say the truth even when it hurts.
Except when you told us that police knew you had nothing to do with it, and later tell us they told you they know that you killed Jack and Lily. Daniel lies all of the time. All of the time. So when somebody says to you, I never lie, trust me. They lie a lot. A lot.
I'm sorry to say that, but I live in reality, and reality is what it is. Her mother seized her phone and probably has her car keys. I know this because when my cousin, Logan, called her phone on a private number, her mom picked up and said, Malehya's phone, who's this? Her mother.
It's also possible Malehya said, I don't want to speak to anybody. And her mom said, oh, I can be a real bitch on the phone. Let me handle this. Let me take that phone. I will take care of anybody calling. That's possible. That would make more sense to me than her just saying, give me your phone. Because remember, Daniel said she's always on the phone. She loves her phone. And how was she able to go open Facebook again? And, she deleted her Facebook, then she reopened it. What did she say? Mommy, can I please go on Facebook? And Mommy said, okay, I give you 10 minutes and I'm going to watch you while you're doing it. And then you're going to giving me back the phone, right? Come on, man. Come on. Obviously, Malehya is also communicating with Belinda. Malehya has her phone. Nobody took her phone from her. Malehya doesn't want to talk to you, dude. It's not that she's not allowed to. Well, her mom probably told her, the best thing, don't talk to this dude at all about anything. Nothing. There's no reason to. So she might be encouraging her, but I think that it's Malehya's deepest wish to not speak to Daniel at all. I think she has nothing to say to him. And the other thing about the Facebook, that she went on Facebook, why did she change her relationship status so quickly? Does she look for somebody new? Does she want to let the whole world know I'm available now? I think it's done because she wants to show she is worried only about Logan. Meadow, and the CPS case. And the message she's sending is, I am not with Daniel anymore at all. I am not with him. I will not be with him. And I think that whatever happened with CPS, whatever reason they visited them for, it has to do with Daniel and not with her. Because even though she has a lawyer and is protected by her tribe, if she was the one that abused the children, no way, she wouldn't have Meadow. But there's something that she is afraid they're going to know. And that's why she's not talking. She wants to protect the one child that she has left. And that also was a priority of John and Patsy Ramsey after John Benet died, even though Burke did it, in my opinion, to save the one child, protect the child that they have left. So she doesn't want to chance anything. Her attitude is, don't talk to me, I will not talk to you, unless I have to. And I wouldn't be surprised if she failed her polygraph examination. But that doesn't mean they can do anything about it, right? And she has a lawyer. Daniel does not. The lawyer, that was cost some money. Now he doesn't have the money anymore coming in for the children from the government. I don't know, does he have money coming in for himself? Some, maybe, yeah. But not the type he had before. Let's go for it.
Mother has something over her head of some kind. After her and her mother talked, Malehya was not the same and seemed scared. He's
avoiding to tell you why Malehya doesn't want to be with him. Period. All about the mother.
When he's talking about Cindy Murray, correct? Charmaine, when he says she's a psychopath, yes. I know that, yes, she's a psychopath. I know that because she displays the traits. And I was only wanting for one trait to be exposed, and that was no empathy. And I finally seen it on its full display when she said, when she never shed a tear that day of the disappearance. It's fucking beyond sad, and my heart breaks for Malehya. Okay, so Malehya gave him.
Does your heart not break for the children? That, by the way, was a new one. So he's suddenly a doctor and can diagnose her as a psychopath. Okay, Daniel, no problem. So there are some new messages that previously, when I previously analyzed Daniel's messages, it was not a part of what they shared. So now I can get right to it.
No eye contact. Online is going after her. He says, not me anymore. I passed my lie detector test.
Oh yeah, they're going after you, dude. Which is why you're talking all the time about people online and opinions and speculations and so on and so on. Online is going after you. We don't care about Malehya's mother because Malehya's mother was not there when the children disappeared. We don't care about Malehya's mother at all. Yes, of course, it's kind of interesting to see the dynamics and certain patterns and think about how she may have grown up that gotten her involved with somebody like him to begin with. But that's why when I'm being asked, you want to analyze this? Whenever somebody makes a claim, should I? No, I don't want to. And I want to stick to the people, to analyzing the people who know what happened. And that's Malehya, and that's Daniel. Those are the people. I don't want to, unless Malehya's mother makes a statement, and that statement indicates that she has knowledge and possibly may leak some of that knowledge within a statement, then I would be extremely interested in analyzing something that Malehya's mother says. So, yes, if any of you have any statements from Malehya's mother, for example, and anything stands out, I would love to hear it. I have also no doubt that she knows certain things at least. And it could be helpful, but she wasn't there. And so his focus on Malehya's mother is unreasonable. And the reason is that he feels like he's being exposed by her actions. The fact that she completely left him, doesn't even want to talk to him, makes herself available as single. And by the way, that seemed to be also a really sensitive area for Logan, right? Saying, no, I don't think she has somebody new. Like, it's very important to her. Daniel is worried that people put two and two together and realize why Malehya has done this. How can this be after 3 years being together? Why now? And the biggest fear that he has is to be exposed for who he really is, because he needs to portray himself as a good guy. And yes, what she said earlier is absolutely correct. The types of guys that constantly want to be right and constantly look good to the outside are usually not that good at home with those who really know them. Otherwise, you could just be yourself, because it takes a lot of energy to put on an act, right? It takes a lot of energy to constantly talk about how much you're doing, without putting this energy into finding the children, actually, not worried about them, not worried about where they are, how they're feeling, if they're warm. No worry about that, none at all. Only about how much you're doing. So absolutely, that is also a red flag. Somebody who's trying far too much to present himself in a certain manner. So he was afraid of being exposed. And that is why he wants the public to think, no, Malehya loves me. She feels safe with me. Her mom is basically keeping her as a prisoner. That is the perception that he tries to create in people's minds. Malehya's mom may encourage her, be supportive. She may even have said, enough is enough. You're going to leave this idiot. Look at what happened. This is what it's all come down to. And she didn't want the grandmother there at that trailer. She didn't want anybody to come. She wouldn't give the address. And she didn't want to bring the kids over because she was afraid the children are going to tell grandma what's going on at home. And grandma may have called CPS on them and said, I'm taking the children. I'm taking them now. But she had a lot of faith, in Malehya as a mother. But I'm thinking Lily probably had a lot to say to CPS about Daniel, in my opinion. And she probably would have told grandmother quite a bit as well. And I think grandma would have said, oh, you see, I'm trusting Malehya. I trusted her fully, but I didn't think about whom she may bring into the kid's life. And statistically speaking, yes, a stepfather situation is a lot more dangerous than the biological father situation.
I told you I don't lie and I tell the truth. Mm-hmm. Now, they are hiding, hoping all this blows over, but I'm not going to let it. I'm doing everything I can for these kids. She does no media. I do media. Lily and Jack, they need someone to speak out. So
now they are hiding, hoping all this blows over. But I'm not letting it. I'm doing everything I can for these kids. She does no media. I do media for Lily and Jack. No, you're not. You're not talking about Lily and Jack. You're talking about yourself only. They need someone to speak out. He is looking for anything to say about Malehya. And we're looking at you.
Took the RCMP 12 minutes to arrive on site, and Malehya's mom was there a few minutes later. She lives 1 hour and 16 minutes away. You tell me if that's strange.
And like I said, this happened with Jack and Lily long before that morning. They waited until a certain time to call 911. And I have no doubt Malehya called her mom already before that. I have no doubt.
I tell the truth, but I can't comment on anything that will harm the investigation. Homicide detectives came right out. Like he said, I think in the interview there, he said the same thing. When she said, well, like, why are you...
Oh, watch this crap right now. Watch this lie. Homicide detectives came right and told me, we know you have nothing to do with it. And later he tells us, they said straight up, we know you killed Lily and Jack. And when did he say that? After he thinks he passed the polygraph. He feels safe to tell us that. And he says it in an accusatory manner. And he says it to prove them wrong. You see, you said I did it, but I passed the polygraph.
you, so whatever to that, but we'll play that. The homicide detectives came right out and told me, we know you have nothing to do with it. I was the one that said, here's my phone and lie detector, like, let's do this. He says that Malehya's time of 10 a.m. is false, and we can leave it at that because he didn't want to talk about the timeline at all. She refers to me as her partner, which was weird too in the interview they're referring to. She never does wording like that. I love her more than anything. That will never change. I'm waiting for the chance to relive our first date out over the waterfalls and walk on a big island beach with Daniel. With the Daniel you first met. She will know what that means. Malehya asked me when
I think we all know what that means. The fake Daniel that she first met, not the real Daniel that he became during the relationship.
Said the kids were gone. Should I call the police? The fucking kids are gone. What else should you do? My mom was napping and came outside because she heard me yelling that morning for the kids. So there was no spot in here or that I personally heard about this whole driveway thing, about the kids or that Malehya was at the driveway. Never heard that anywhere up until recently. Is that the same for you, Charmaine?
Absolutely. That was like yesterday, I think yesterday.
Malehya asked me when noticed the kids were gone, should I call the police? I've analyzed this one before. There's gonna be something new now.
First time I ever heard that part. Or
right.
And I know Daniel didn't really get into where his mother was situated, but that his mother walked right up behind Malehya. Like I didn't realize that either.
Ken, are you referring to the fact that Durwood spoke instead, in a sense? Is that what you're referring to? Because we never heard about no driveway. We only heard about Malehya playing like what's in here, and not on any other interview or anything like that. But anyways, so he says. She never, let's see, my mom was napping. Malehya was playing on her phone. Mom came out and said Malehya had a look of worry in her eyes that mom was home. No tears. She wasn't scared that the kids were gone. She just had a look of worry for getting caught for something wrong. She never yelled once at the kids' names trying to find them. Mom said it was odd. She acted odd. No, and then he's answering back to Charmaine's question. No, I ran through the house searching every room and ran outside and the back sliding door. I did everything so fast. She said they were gone when we were both outside, meaning Malehya. No, only with me because Malehya rarely ever went outside with them. I ran through the streams and up to my waist many times. I could have slipped on a wet rock. Okay, don't even get me started on this. I could have slipped on a wet rock, hit my head, and died, or fall on a stick or branch and get impaled and die. I did it for the kids.
This dude has a wide imagination, and yeah, he has a wide imagination, man, and he makes it dramatic. And I've already talked about this part, but it's I'm letting it roll because I find it to be worth listening to again, especially now that we had this longer interview recently, right? Oh, a 54-minute mark. Sorry, it's going to be at the 54-minute mark. Okay. I'm going to keep going.
And the world will never see that.
Oh, okay. Poor guy.
Okay. Remove all that from yesterday. I only put this briefly in. So basically, after we did that live, Charmaine wakes up to 3 phone calls. I think it was from Daniel, but she was asleep because we're 4 hours different. It was 6 something in the morning that he called her. He said, remove all that stuff from yesterday. Remove it now.
Yes, Canada has 5 time zones, right? 5.
It paints Malehya in a bad light. Jesus, please, or just, sorry, not Jesus, just please remove it. People are attacking Malehya. Detectives told me. Okay. So that's it for those ones. Now, if I click over here, will it show these ones?
I think it's going to get good.
Okay, so now I got to stop screen share and then show it again on there. Okay.
All right.
This one? Yeah, it's this one. Okay. So a lot of people missed these ones yesterday. Oh, I'm not bad.
I did.
My bad. I'm sitting here making us freaking full and I didn't even make it larger. My bad. Let's do it. Okay. So those ones the other ones are out there anyways, guys.
Oh.
But this one here, probably a lot of people might have missed those at the end of the live. So I wanted to go through these again.
Interesting.
Okay.
I told investigators to polygraph her family, and they are. Why her family? Was her family there? What is he talking about?
So I told investigators to polygraph her family, and this is Daniel, right? You can see Daniel here, and he's talking with Belinda, okay? And Belinda said it was okay to put this out because Daniel's been speaking a lot, type of thing. And if he has if basically she just wishes Daniel, would just say the truth from A to Z as well. Like, meaning, cut whatever the crap in a sense. I'm saying that loosely. Those are my words. But just, you know what? Just if you...
Okay, I should have started right here, right? I work with detectives. Look at that. You work with the detectives to whom you are the prime suspect. Who told you we think you killed the kids? And you work with them, really. You work with the detectives. You're gonna stick with that. Why do you want the investigators to polygraph her family? And who in her family? Her mother? This is interesting, right?
If you have the truth to say, then just say it, and say it from A to Z, start to finish.
Oh, now she says
I told
Z.
investigators to polygraph her family, and they are. Daniel says, have you mentioned this to the police? That's from Belinda. I work with detectives. Okay, sorry. That's why this can't get out. If it does, then I may lose my in with the investigators. What about Hayden? I'm not sure on that one. I'd watch out. He used to be close to Malehya. Belinda's saying, why no media standing up for Jack and Lily?
Belinda? I'm confused now, man. That's why this can't get out. If it does, then I lose my in with investigators. Okay, now they're posting it, and before they didn't want to do it. But at least now we are able to see this. What about Hayden? I'm not sure on that one. I'd watch out. He used to be close. I don't know who Hayden is. Who's Hayden?
Even the natives pulled back, and they don't want involvement. And then it says something like, I seen
Vinyl Media standing up for Jack and Lily. Why are you not calling out to an abductor? Why don't you do that?
or whatever, an interview yesterday. And then Daniel says CBC, right? So this was obviously before the CBC video. And then he said a lot more in that interview, like when it came out. So that's what Belinda's saying. Like, look, he's doing a lot of talking. This is good to go out. Yeah, I just did it on set interview that was over an hour long with the cameraman, producers, and interviewers. It's out Tuesday, which is the Tuesday that just passed. So CBC National, I think. And then she says, mine is out Wednesday. And I think after that comes out, the world will turn on Malehya. Okay.
No, it's not. And interesting how he changes so quickly, working with detectives, and he's completely lying around the same time. He doesn't let a lot of time pass. I just did an interview. He did this interview, had already done it. Wait a minute. I just did an on-set interview that was over an hour long. Yeah, in this interview, he told them that the detective suspected him. But here he says they told him they knew he had nothing to do with it.
Comes out, the world will turn on Malehya. Okay. Malehya didn't want to be anywhere near Cody. She was afraid. Okay, Cody is Belinda's son, right? The father of Jack and Lily. So she was afraid to even drive anywhere close even. Don't worry, I have a guy on the inside now. I can't say more than that, but evidence is mounting. The only problem is that it's going to be hard for someone to give up the kid's location. The amount of jail time for this will be unheard of. Don't say anything to anyone about this conversation. Okay, we won't, Daniel. I won't, but that doesn't make sense because Cody didn't live here. He was in Truro. He only moved back 10 months ago. She was afraid of that she would be there and he would show up. I'm being honest.
I'm being honest, right? So is that why the police interviewed Cody for so long? Because maybe Daniel said these things to police? That makes sense now, right? But remember, police cleared Cody. I believe the grandmother when she says, police told us a couple of days ago, we are not looking at you anymore. We know this is horse shit. Right? And in another message, Malehya told us that Daniel didn't let her be around Cody and that he was controlling her. So this is typical for somebody who wants all eyes moved away from himself. And maybe this was when he already started to concoct the story that some of you have paid attention to. She was afraid that she would be there and he would show up. I'm being honest. No, you're not, dude. That's why you feel the need to tell us you're being honest. Just be honest. Just tell us. No, this didn't happen. He probably told police whatever he could think of. And they had to investigate it. They had to go to Cody. And he was angry, according to his mother, because he hadn't seen the children in 3 years, and now they're coming after him. And I have no doubt that Daniel has something to do with it. Is the one who probably told him, look at him.
During that time, he even lived in Cape Breton, Belinda says. Yes, but look who Malehya, I think we finally know that her and her family are a little crazy, maybe more than a little. And then she said he had no interest in her or the kids, sadly. She's referring to Cody.
Exactly.
Which Belinda came right out and said, because I already knew most of that information because Belinda had already told me.
Exactly. Exactly. And Mom knows. She knows her son. So this is his paranoia. He didn't want her around Cody. He didn't want whatever they had to be, he probably figured that Malehya may be completely sick of him and start looking at Cody in a new light. Like, maybe you were not so bad. Considering what I have to deal with right now with Daniel, maybe I want to be back with Cody. Maybe they will look at each other again in a better light. You know what I mean? That was Daniel's worry. He's full of worries. Because he knew he wasn't giving Malehya what she deserved, life-wise. And I think she was very resigned and didn't like this trailer, didn't like to live there. I mean, she said it. I didn't want to be there. But she accepted it. I believe she accepted a lot worse. I believe she accepted him not treating the children well. I believe that she tolerated and accepted everything. That is my worry. That is my fear. Which is why she doesn't want. She is worried about CPS. I believe that she allowed a lot of things to happen, man. A lot. And sort of shut off and just escapism, living on her phone basically. Not wanting to talk to people because she didn't want people to know. She didn't want any questions. And, people already realize the kids are pretty wild, or they're outside by themselves all the time and they're unsupervised, and So she didn't want anybody in her business because she knew she was doing wrong. She knew that things were wrong at home. And that is her way of handling it. While Daniel, his way is to portray a good side to the outside, portray a happy family, everything is so perfect. Malehya is different. She's just like, okay, I'm dealing with it, I'm accepting it, but I don't want to know. I don't want anybody to know me. I don't want anybody to see, ask me questions. She doesn't like to lie. It's hard work for her. So Daniel, it comes a lot easier. And I believe that's just a pattern he developed in his life. That was second nature to him.
Right? So that's the stuff that we weren't really talking about, but Belinda said it right in the interview, and you guys full well heard that Cody has been out of the children's life. He walked away.
Yeah.
Okay. And he was interviewed 3 times or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically said, basically he became what? He was cleared. Okay.
Exactly.
They had no.
And Daniel was never cleared. He tried to make it sound like it. And this great reporter, Kayla, how do you know that? She asked him right away, and he said, well, they're only coming by every 5. They're not really talking to me anymore. No, you're not cleared at all. They never came to you and said, hey, we just want to let you know. We know nothing. You had nothing to do with it, and you're in the clear. So we're not going to look at. You're free to. You can take a trip somewhere far. You're free to leave the province, do whatever you want. You know what I mean? You are no longer on our list. We're not looking your way anymore at all. No. They never once said that to Daniel. Never. He would have told us. So with everything he's throwing around here about Cody, Malehya's family, this and that, no, none of it. And the investigators, he said they told him from the beginning that he had nothing to do with it. But now, why didn't he bring that up when she asked, how do you know they're not looking your way anymore? Because they didn't do that. They never cleared him. Never. So he knows he's still on their list. And he wants to make it look like he's not.
No interest in him. And the kids, he had no interest in her kids. Her or the kids, Sally. Let me make that sure that's right, okay? So again, that's the biological father, Cody. I know, but Malehya's whole life has been nothing but negative. She found me, and then she was happy. Charmaine.
Okay. And his spelling is just atrocious. She found me, then she was happy. I believe in the beginning she was happy enough to move in with him. I believe that. For a certain time, that Daniel she first met, she was happy with. Happy enough. Let's say it like that.
I used to think AI in the terminal was kind of...
She found Daniel, and then she was happy.
In the beginning, she was. We are talking about the Daniel that she first met. We are not talking about the last couple of years. Mentioning the Daniel that she first met tells me that the Daniel that he was in the last couple of years was somebody that she was not happy with at all. At all. So there's some experiential memory here from the very beginning. And that's how far back he digs, ignoring what happened later.
Well, of course you did. He's the best. He's the best ever.
Best ever.
And this whole thing, Jack and Lily going missing, he's being punished for being so good.
Well, that's how all this, and like I said, we're just out here to put out the information. You guys can make of it what you will, but obviously, in this, and this is where, again, if he wants to clear all this stuff up, instead of text which can be misconstrued, just speak your mind, speak your piece, tell the truth, and then if you tell him the truth, as Daniel said, you got nothing. If you tell him the truth, right? You got nothing to hide. If your story's consistent, it will stay the same. Now, I obviously, we know that his story's been inconsistent, but again, he has the option to clear that up if he wants to. If not, then that's fine. That's on him. So anyways, she found me and then she was happy. But Cindy didn't like seeing her daughter happy. Now look at the mess. Lily and Jack are innocent, and let's see. And Lily and Jack are innocent and they never deserve this. Breaks my heart. The last time she was here with the kids, she told us that you weren't happy about it. So we told her to bring you along if that would help. Do you think Malehya was a trustworthy person? Daniel says. At this point,
the last time she was here with the kids, she told us so. I guess this is Belinda talking to Daniel. Just to clarify it.
I would not trust a word out of her mouth. God, that's such a caring statement right there. Oh my God, but I'm not putting Malehya down.
So Malehya, yep, he's trying to discredit her. Or is it Charmaine talking from Belinda's house? I'm not sure, but it's interesting either way.
Want her back. Yeah, okay, anyways, you see her fighting for Jack and Lily. Her family has been saying fucked up shit to CPS. That's why I can't see Meadow.
No, the case has been ongoing before she moved in with Cindy. That's all. That's what we find out now. That's what we found out since. The media actually put it out there that there was an open CPS case against him. That has nothing to do with Cindy. Cindy didn't do that. That was the teachers. And I'm thinking that maybe when they talked about Lily, Jack, they're talking your ear off, maybe Lily said something in school. You see how he's lying here? He's making that her family. I don't know what she said to CPS. And the reason he does that, because he wants to talk like, he wants to also send her a message while putting her down. And I believe he made her feel like she didn't deserve any better than he was able to give her. You know what I mean? That was sort of his tactic. To not to say, okay, I know I promised you the world at one time, and now you're living in the type of dirty environment that is so against your own nature, but look at you, you're lazy, you're not helping with the kid, you're not doing, you know what I mean? He is putting her down, but at the same time wanting her back. And that can easily suggest an ongoing pattern of abuse, of control, of mental abuse of sorts, right? Yes, I love you, but you really screwed up. But don't worry, I love you. I accept you. Yeah, nobody's bargain. But yeah, you're good. I'm you're lucky I accept you. Basically, that's what he's trying to convey. And he's trying to tell her with this, I know your family hates me and your family's putting orders in your mind and your family's controlling you, and I know you really love me and want to be with me, but they don't let you. So this is sort of how he wants to get her back, but under his terms. That's not why you can't see Meadow.
Do you think, okay, we already said that. Malehya and her family have done so much wrong, not to Jack and Lily, but to everyone. Okay? They are giving you supervised visits, though, now. She never always spoke the truth, but I really thought she was a good mom. I don't know when it changed. And this one he goes again. I raised Jack and Lily. I potty trained them. I played outside with them. I taught kids how to zipper their coats. I did it all. She played on her phone all day. She doesn't know how to raise the kids. The kids used to hit and bite her and scratch her. She had no control over them.
Look at that. And yes, Belinda, I really thought she was a good mom. I don't know when it changed, why it changed, how it changed. And look at Daniel, just putting her down. I will get deeper into this later, by the way.
Well, that part sounds about right. I can see the kids acting out on her. Know a lot of the moms who have let their kids get away with that too. No, she had zero.
That part sounds about right. I can see the kids acting out on her. Know a lot of moms who let their kids get away with too much. Yeah, I think nowadays that's well, here's the thing. You know, he is the one who had a huge problem with that because he wants to be in control. He doesn't want the kids to. He wants to be in complete control at home, I think.
Control over them. I raised Lily and Jack. They just seen her as a girl that makes food for them. I know this sounds bad. No, of course it doesn't sound bad, Danielle. I don't know where you get that from. Anyways, I know this sounds bad, but I'm being honest. I don't lie. It hurts when I tell the truth. But I can't lie because that's all the world is nowadays. People can judge me all they want, but I just like being honest. Okay, so that's the end of that.
He is upset. Things are being put on him. He feels that Malehya failed completely as a mother, and whatever happened wouldn't have happened had she been a good mother. Let's see what they say.
That one. And again, sorry you guys couldn't see chat. So if you guys said, you guys just take it for what it's worth. So basically, like I said, I'm going to show you two more messages from Belinda to Malehya on the talking from yesterday, so we can put that together. I'm not going to go through the ones with Malehya and Belinda's original conversation about when the children disappeared that day. You guys can go view that yourself on there. I'm just wanting to put out the other information with this information. So however you want to look at it. See, so because I've been in an abusive relationship, okay, for freaking 11 years for the first one, okay? So trust me, you want to talk about someone that's controlling and whatever, Charmaine, same thing. You know, we know a controlling personality when we see it. This person, if we're looking at this just straight on, we see a person that keeps talking about what he did, what she didn't do, what she didn't do, what she didn't do. But God, I love her. God, I love her. God, I love her. You know, why did she just bolt on May 3rd? Like, I don't know. I have no clue whatsoever, obviously, because I'm just, a dumb turnip on a truck that fell off. So I wouldn't have no clue why would somebody would perhaps bolt. Maybe because they think that you had something to do with it. Maybe they didn't, but we don't know. We're just trying to put the puzzle pieces together ourselves. But this clearly is someone that, like we said, I'm the hero. I almost died. I almost impaled myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
What the hell?
That's the one. Thank you. Now.
Absolutely no reason to keep these kids hidden. She still can't be with them. So logically in my mind, and I'm not asking anybody else to, jump on my train here, but logically in that mindset, it doesn't make sense. Even if something terrible happened to the kids between the time that they left in the car and now, it still doesn't make sense for Malehya to not have told the RCMP anything. And that's where my mind is about the entire situation.
Wait, let me hear this.
Yes.
You sure you want me to do that?
Well, I mean, it's only fair at the end of the day, right? If this is his truth,
words. These are his words.
Anyone's perception, we can perceive it however we want. Again, if somebody's speaking, they have the opportunity to say it without it being probably judged different as much in a sense. But these are his words. So just like the interviews, these are his words. I think it's only fair that you always look at Malehya, what she's done, and Daniel, what he's done and what he said. So go ahead, speak the truth.
I feel like if we look at what Malehya has done, it's more about what Malehya hasn't done.
Exactly.
Everything else that we go off of comes from Daniel and Daniel's words. And although he loves her and he doesn't want to paint her in a negative light.
So he says what Malehya didn't do. He cannot say Malehya hit them, Malehya was abusive, Malehya was this, Malehya was that. She may have hurt them because she had a short temper. No. He's only telling you what Malehya didn't do. And what she didn't do was control the children at all. He was not controlling at all. And that's why he may look like he was controlling. He is making her the extreme case. So whatever he did will not look too out of place. And that's where he is speaking from memory due to accusations against him. Because Logan told us he has proven himself time and time again. Why did he have to prove himself? Because he was guilty of something. That's why CPS was there. So what he's trying to do is minimize his actions by telling us that she was a very bad mother. He had to be the way that he was because he had to create balance. It wasn't that he was short-tempered and did something that warranted a CPS visit, investigation, ongoing case possibly. He did what he had to do. And it's all her fault. So what you hear about him, what you may wind up hearing about CPS, ignore all of that because that's Malehya's fault. That's what he is getting at with that. He is preemptive. He is replying to accusations that will eventually come because people are going to find out certain things about him. And he wants to be the one who's already told everybody why he thinks or wants you to think he had to do what he did. Because the details that they didn't mention would maybe shock people and maybe open their eyes wide.
I cannot find a single time where he said anything positive about her. Mm-hmm. That's not how you talk about somebody that you truly love.
Exactly.
Unless
your father died and you're sad.
Oh, Jesus.
Come and join me.
You're used to keeping them under your thumb.
Exactly.
Just by making them believe that they need you, mm-hmm. basically, to think for you.
And that they're worthless, right? You're good for nothing. You're just the girl that makes food for the children. Otherwise, you're completely useless. So you have no right to tell me I'm not doing enough for you. You have no right to think you may be able to do better than me. That is the exact message. He cannot give her compliments because then, and that's an ongoing, that's the way he been speaking to her for a very long time. I can guarantee you that. That's why he won't snap out of it now. He's getting into this weird way of talking about her because that's how he's been talking to her for a very, very long time, people. That's nothing out of the norm for him. For us, it's alarming, like, oh my God, that's a huge red flag right there. But not to him, because this has been normalized within their relationship. You're lucky that I love you because you have nothing to offer. He says, I know this sounds bad. Yeah, it does, because it is bad. Because had you spoken nicer to her and complimented her, Daniel was scared that then maybe she believes it and says, you're right. What the hell am I doing here with you? Yes, I'm a great person. I have a very good way about myself. I'm very pleasant and I'm good with the kids. I'm not the person who just hits and tells kids what to do. I'm patient. I tell them, you know what grandma said about how she used to be. I don't think he allowed her to be like that with the kids. I think he said, you're being too soft with them. Look how they act. And when Lily screamed at the birthday party, I believe afterwards, man, he expressed, to say it mildly, how he felt about that later when everybody was gone. And he told her that the way she raised the kids was wrong. While grandma says she had a wonderful way. She didn't hit them. She wasn't harsh with them. She explained things. They had a good nature about themselves, the children, but also because they were used to Malehya's way from very early on. They were free. They didn't have fear, but I believe that they learned fear or had fearful situations. And it was a rude awakening for them in that house when Daniel finally showed who he is and expressed that he had enough of them. They didn't work as a team. He didn't like the patience that she had. He probably thought she needs to be tougher with them.
To speak for you.
And that's why he's putting her down. The way that she was, her way as a mother in general, he's putting that down. But in reality, I believe it was a good way that she had. But she was very resigned. I believe she gotten to the point where she just gave up and said, forget it, man. My life is going to suck forever. I'm here. I don't know. I cannot do it anymore. She had probably a rough childhood too. You know what I mean? And then she just was exhausted. Maybe she never had a real relationship. Maybe she didn't understand how a relationship is supposed to work. She only knew that she had enough of the same old pattern, and it sucks your energy when somebody like that lives with you and criticizes you all the time. And not only for women, by the way, for men too. Believe me, when you have a partner at home who sees you in a negative light, where things have changed and you realize, okay, we are not right for each other, and that negative energy is just like a weight on your shoulder. And in these moments, that's when nothing goes well in life. Everything goes wrong at work, or you don't move ahead. Nothing gets ahead. It's kind of, you get in this rut of just, you're sort of fighting this energy, you know what I mean? And you're not at your best anymore in everyday life. You're exhausted. So yeah, I believe she maybe was resigned and did even less with the kids, didn't even try to correct them anymore, and maybe she let Daniel take over. And the kids, in their own way, were sort of fighting it, and Lily was very, very protective of her brother, and I believe something really bad happened to her brother that night. And Lily kept walking in and out, came into the room multiple times. But yeah, Malehya, she was just on the phone, right? As always, she was always on her phone. Yeah, maybe she had the attitude like, well, if you think you can do so much better, than you do it. But I have my style, you have yours, and that's the only style I know. And maybe she was treated harshly by her own mother when she grew up and didn't want to be like that with her children. And yes, maybe she was a little bit too soft. That's possible. That can happen. You see, many times, children of abusive parents, some of them, they just continue the abuse, like Chris Proudfoot. Others, they go into the opposite direction. And sometimes they are afraid to be too harsh with their children because they know how it felt when they were children. And they can have a tendency of being too soft. They can be afraid of raising their voice or be intimidating because they don't want their children to grow up in fear, in the same fear that they had. The way that Lily was outgoing, I don't think Malehya was like this as a child. And I think that's what she wanted. She wanted her children to sort of have what she didn't have. That can be when even you don't really have solutions how to snap out of your own misery. What keeps you going? Well, I'm going to make sure my children are going to be happy and strong and fearless and make their own decisions and not be intimidated by anybody. You know what I mean? So
and she's never going to be okay without me. That kind of mentality is all too familiar to me, and maybe I'm reading it wrong. I mean, obviously, but I have these opinions, and my opinions are based on Daniel's words.
yes,
And I'm sorry, I have all the respect in the world for Durwood. I really do. I appreciate that he comes out. He's giving us the information that he wants to give us. He's doing his own thing, but I cannot myself wrap my head around why Malehya chose that day, because Daniel worked 1 day a week. There's always that question in my mind. The time of day even doesn't make sense to me. And the fact that it's gone on this long. So, okay, if things just blew up and got out of control so quickly, and it shocked Malehya at this point, now she's away from Daniel. She's got a sense of safety, especially now she's on the reservation with her Brooks side of the family.
yeah.
She's got this sense of security. There's absolutely no reason to keep these kids hidden. She still can't be with them. So logically, in my mind, and I'm not asking anybody else to, jump on my train here, but logically in that mindset, it doesn't make sense. Even if something terrible happened to the kids between the time that they left in the car and now, it still doesn't make sense for Malehya to not have told the RCMP anything. And that's where my mind is about the entire situation. And it's going to take a bombshell, a Nancy Grace level bombshell for me to change my opinion. And like I said, no disrespect to Durwood. I'm never going to argue or question his integrity, 100%.
Yeah, anyways, that part, that was 3 days ago. I think they changed their mind about that one. I think. And about this one too, when it comes to Logan files, no, Logan didn't file for custody. But that was 3 days ago, guys, okay? And this one I have seen already, but let's bring it back. I want to see what they say. I want to hear
I have these thoughts, and it's all based on Daniel's own words. And I keep saying, Daniel, you need to stop doing this shit. You need to get on a live. You need to get on a phone call and speak your truth.
Exactly.
Who's ready to hatch some?
Stop with these messages, because it's not.
Yeah, I doubt it. I would love to have him. I would love to interview him. And Daniel, if you're hearing me, I will not argue with anything. I will ask you maybe 5 questions, and based on how you answer, I will then have a couple of follow-ups. And that can last a while, or it can go very quickly. It's up to you. But I will only ask you questions and allow you to answer. I will not disagree with you. I will not disagree with anything. I will let it stand and then later analyze it, of course. You know? And if you're not afraid of that, talk to me. I am firetown@gmail.com.
Not good.
It's not doing him. It's not doing him any favor.
I want him to keep talking. I do, but
again, if he's fighting for Jack and Lily, again, if you think that.
And you see, Malehya said he never wanted me to go, and I never knew why he was controlling. And she always came by with the kids until she moved in with Daniel. I believe her. Not, he's trying to make it sound like she was afraid to run into Cody. BS. You see, in the beginning, and that's what I love about getting deeper into analysis, and once you get to know somebody's pattern, bam, immediately the nonsense stands out to you. Immediately. Before, it was sort of like, who is this guy? But I think we know him pretty well right now, by now.
Malehya and her family had something to do with it. Again, then just say it, just spit it out. You know, none of this covert shit and stuff like that. The RCMP, they're doing their job, okay? So at no point are you probably going to be so detrimental to the case and that. But obviously there's things that you probably might not want to say. But I would just say, if you keep saying that you're doing this for Jack and Lily and for Malehya,
right.
Then just speak your truth. Obviously, you know, you can tell. I mean, these are your words. You haven't painted her in the prettiest picture, but you painted yourself in a good picture, but not her. So maybe you want to clear that up, perhaps. It's up to you, Daniel.
And he doesn't admit to anything bad about himself. You notice that? He doesn't say anything like, I made some mistakes, or everything he says about himself is good. Everything, right? Everything. And again, yes, now he can mention, now he feels like he can say, okay, they said you killed Jack and Lily. Haha, I passed the polygraph. That's why he's saying it now. The joke's on you. I passed the polygraph. You got nothing on me. Sadness turned to anger, remember? He's angry he has to deal with it without Malehya being by his side. And he wants her to think about the Daniel that she first met, but he doesn't say, I promise I'll change.
At the end of the day, we're going to be here like thorns of a rose and like flies to shit, talking about Jack and Lily and bringing awareness to this case, regardless, whatever it takes, just to keep bringing awareness. And you guys, thank you guys for doing your part, hitting the like and the share, because at the end of the day, whoever is culpable of doing something to Jack and Lily, whether it's an actual abduction by a stranger, because that's still, I mean, we still can't eliminate that. It still could be on the lower scale.
I'm eliminating it. Unless the stranger came right into the house. Because they did not leave at 3 degrees Celsius with no coats to play outside. No.
Of what you think. I still believe that there's family involvement, regardless, is my personal situation, whether it's Malehya Daniel type of thing. Bottom line is, it's just, in my opinion, that's all it is. Like I said, from Malehya, this conversation, so this was only 2 verses. So Belinda says to Malehya, can I ask you a question? Mm-hmm. Why did you stop visiting with the kids? I just thought you needed time to convince Daniel he had nothing to worry about. I remember you said he thought you were only coming because you wanted to see Cody, right? Okay, obviously that's a jealousy factor, but I don't understand because we invited him too. Right. Now, then I'm going to go to the next one because the next bottom part is on the next one.
Really quickly before it leaves my mind, though, I just want to say that somebody in chat said if we keep dogging Daniel, he's never going to talk to us, and that's my point. Sunny is not quite on the same page that I am. She's still.
And a witch, can I be one?
Uh-oh, the witch again. I'm kidding with the witch thing.
Open, and that's why I said if Daniel agrees to talk to Sunny, I will not participate. I will step back. I will not join. I will be quiet in the chat because my thoughts are my own thoughts, and I've made my thoughts pretty clear. Right. Sunny does not share my thoughts.
And I agree. You see, here's the thing. I know that they are in a position where they would love to have Daniel speak to them again, understandably. And I would love to see that as well. And yes, it's a tricky situation. It can be, I think, where you, at the end of the day, if you have a channel, I think the best thing is just to say it how you see it or not say anything. Meaning, you don't want to say, I think he's innocent or anything like that to have him on. But you can say, let me put this out here. What about this? What about that? This is not dogging Daniel. You're telling us what the messages say. And you pretty accurately have read what I would also have said and what I agree with from an analyst standpoint. That he reveals what life was like with him. And, I think it's the right thing to speak your mind. And I am not going after anybody unless I have analyzed somebody so much that the pattern becomes so clear that it's time to go for it. But I let it come to me little by little. And then when it gets to the point where it is so obvious, like with Chris Proudfoot, that's when I change. But I am not interested in going after anybody. I simply reveal what the words are saying, what he is really telling us, while he is trying to tell us something completely different.
And I will not participate in that. If he comes up and he wants to talk and tell his truth, I will stay back. That is not my place to attack somebody online, and I'm not doing it. If he wants to confront me, 100%, I'm into it. But I'm not here to make anybody uncomfortable or stop anybody from speaking. He needs to tell his truth.
Well, exactly. So
his truth, yeah. I don't use that term for a reason, If he needs to correct us, if he needs to clear things up, let's say it like this. If I'm getting something wrong, Daniel, and you want to clear it up and actually reply to what I'm saying, to certain statements I've made, and explain to me why you think I'm wrong, feel free to do that. I will not call it your truth, because truth is truth. There is perception, everybody has a different perception. So when you see a car accident and there are witnesses that are friends with one driver and witnesses that are friends with the other driver, you're going to get a lot of different interpretations of what happened. And none of them may be the truth. So even if you have people who are not friends with any of the drivers, they may disagree on what happened and interpret it differently, how the accident take place. Sometimes very, very differently. But if then you see the footage of the accident actually in front of you and you show it to the witnesses, they will say, oh yeah, okay, I got you. Okay, my bad. This one I got wrong. But this I got right. And same with the other people. So that doesn't mean, well, this is my truth. No, you were wrong, you know? If you say, he swerved into the opposite lane, the green car, and then they see on the camera, no, he didn't. Well, it's my truth. Come on, man. I mean, I know this is like a term that's gotten very normalized and people use it all of the time. But many times people use it when they say, this is my truth, actually for deception purposes. Well, it's my truth. You cannot take it away from me. Meaning, you cannot challenge it either because it's my truth. And you cannot call me a liar either because it's my truth. Sorry, it's my truth. You know what I mean? So, of course, yes, I understand that what she is saying is, to appeal to him, make him feel comfortable. And again, I hope he comes out and speaks to them. That would be great. Or to me. Somebody who will ask the right questions. And believe me, if he comes on, I will send you 5 questions. You can use them or you cannot use them. And I will tell you exactly why I'm asking these 5 questions. What the reason is. Open-ended question, not accusatory.
So if you're telling the truth, you got nothing to hide, then you're going to speak your truth, and you're not going to be worried about it.
I don't want this music in the back. Now I'm going to get a copyright strike again. Oh, well, I mean, they have ads, right? They have advertising on here, so I guess they didn't get a strike, so I don't want to be rickrolled. Okay, let's go here.
Fact of trying to believe that Daniel's doing things for the right in purposes, but knowing full well that I'm still not a dumbass. I'm looking at everything, right? I'm looking at everything from Malehya's side, how it would look that way, and from Daniel's side, how it would look that way. So again, it's totally up to Daniel. You know, he had an opportunity, to talk and stuff like that. I don't think he'll take it regardless myself. Like, I'm pretty sure that, that Durwood's going to ask him to come up on the live, and I don't think he'll take that opportunity. Whether he thinks that maybe this channel is just a little bit too us, or maybe he just simply doesn't want to come up.
He's perfectly comfortable behind his keyboard, and that's right. Yeah. I said it, and I don't know how to say your name, but that's who I'm talking to. This Cagnaccio. I'm so sorry that I can't say that. But I know that because of me and my opinions, it's very unlikely that Daniel will talk to this channel. But I firmly believe that Daniel won't talk to any channel. He's perfectly comfortable behind his keyboard, which is fine. But I said I will not participate. Sunny hasn't made up her mind. I have.
No.
And Daniel cannot handle criticism at all. He wants to speak. And he wants to be listened to. if it bothers him what he reads online about himself, that people are suspicious, imagine how he will probably be on there, and the one question he doesn't like, he will probably take off. I don't think he'll be able to handle it.
And then at the end of the day, I can't, you know what? My head's spinning, and I'm sure most of your guys is too. But bottom line is, Daniel knows that Durwood is speaking to the channel because Durwood, not his real name, but I know his real name and I have his phone number. Okay. Durwood, you know, just like you said on the live yesterday, you know, like I'll ask Daniel, I'll see if he wants to contact you type of thing. And I was like, sure. So it's not like Daniel doesn't know that Durwood is speaking for him, you know, in a sense, like, meaning you guys, you know, would be obviously big idiots if you guys didn't realize that half of what, at least 3/4 of what Durwood is saying is based on a conversation with Daniel. He's on Malehya's side of the family, but he also knows Daniel's family and Daniel as well. So for all these people that think that he's just some, you know, gossiper and Tim Hortons and stuff like that, no, he talks with the family. Okay, we're talking about Cindy, Patty. We're talking about the family. He knows.
Mind you, I think from what I understand, they changed their minds about a couple of these things they're saying now. So let me go forward and see if she's still
come for visits. So Daniel says, Malehya, says he never wanted to give it. I never wanted to stay there, right? Obviously, like Durwood said, whatever, a couple weeks prior, she wanted out of there. She was talking to her family and stuff like that, out of there. She wanted gone. Well, if he's such a knight in shining armor, why would she want gone, right? That doesn't.
She said, I never wanted to stay there. That's not a new thing. I no longer wanted to stay there. No, she said she never wanted to stay there, but she did. So I think that Daniel has just the Daniel she first met just sweet talked her so well that he convinced her to move in there. And eventually got to the point where he felt like, I got her now. When she got pregnant, then she had Meadow, and he was no longer worried she's gonna leave. But I believe she didn't like it there. But at the time, she was maybe in a vulnerable situation, and he was, you know, he knows people's weaknesses, and he kind of said all the right things and made her feel better than other people had made her feel, you know, at the time, for a certain time, to get her to move in with him. And little by little, it wore her down to where she was no longer the clean person she used to be, and maybe gave up on. And I'm saying this because I know families, like I have seen these types of things where, you know, if you get criticized too much, some people just shut off. You know, if he told her maybe you're too nice to your children, yeah, that she maybe said, okay, I don't even want to talk to my children right now because he's going to come and tear it all apart, what I'm doing and what I'm saying and what I'm trying, you know what I mean? Which led to the CPS case.
Doesn't make sense. So if you've been in an abusive relationship or a controlling one, so just put yourself from Malehya's side in those shoes. And also you look at it from Daniel's side, regardless. I'm not here, like I said, as a creator, I'm here to have my opinion and look at the facts like anybody else. But, you know, I would be a pretty bad creator if I only looked at it from one side of things and just stuck to that. That would be pretty pathetic of me as a creator.
Yeah, for me, here's the thing. I don't expect anybody to make up their minds fast. And I don't make up my mind fast. I let things come to me. As I've said many times, I allow things to come to me through the language that Daniel or Malehya use. So I am not jumping from, I think he's a good guy. In my mind, I'm looking at all of the what ifs already. And until I get to this point, you see, a lot of times people take shortcuts and they say, you know what, I just think he's a nice guy and he didn't. And then they wake up the next morning and say, what about this? And what about that? You know what I mean? That's the reason I don't, and I don't promise quick fixes. I don't promise, okay, I'm going to tell you now exactly what, no. But again, what I think needs to happen all over Nova Scotia, people need to hold on to their camera footage May 1 to May 2. And if you don't know what kind of vehicles you may be looking for, wait or find out. And maybe you'll be $150,000 richer.
For sure. Or anyone that's doing a case, right? You have to sit there and always look around the full circle of it and still draw my own conclusions. And if I flip flop, good. So do you guys, right? We all do, right? We're not perfect. We just go with what information comes in, webs and flows or ebbs and flows or whatever it's called. I think ebbs and flows. But anyway, so obviously from these statements, you can tell that this is based upon what Malehya is saying, and between the conversation with Belinda. And this was just on Tuesday, okay? The Tuesday that literally just went by.
Yeah.
That's what this conversation was from, Tuesday 8:46. I think you saw it on the first one. So this is a recent conversation. And again, if you took it for its value of what you see, just like Daniel's comments, this shows somebody that felt like they were in a controlling relationship, and that basically Belinda had talked about the fact of Malehya distancing herself, and people, of course, are jumping, going, well, why didn't the grandmother see her, and why didn't they see the kids, and whatever. So imagine if Malehya is in this controlling relationship, and basically Daniel's trying to control type of thing, looking at it that way, then obviously she's distancing herself off from Belinda. I'm not talking about Cody. Okay, Cody walked away because she filed for full custody and walked away. But we're talking about Belinda, right? So Belinda could see that after Meadow was born, it's just like the relationship is like she was pulling away, exactly. Right? And honestly, my ex-husband, my ex-husband was not as abusive as the first one, but he was getting abusive at the end. But talking about the one with my child, same thing, right? They start thinking that they're smart, manipulative, and controlling and whatever and stuff like that.
And the timeline with Meadow, I do believe Daniel was on his best behavior until she got pregnant, because he knew at any time she could have said, I'm leaving this shithole. I'm out of here. What you say to me? You're criticizing me for what? Who the hell are you to do that? I don't even want to be here. I'm out of here. But I think that something significant happened starting from the moment that when they realized that she was pregnant with Meadow. And he no longer had the fear she's going to leave him. And I believe that's when he gotten to the, and when okay, look, a year and 9 months ago, she said, right? Was the last time. And how old is Meadow now? She was 16 months. Now she's maybe 17, 18 months, right? So let's say a year and 5 months. So when she was around 4 or 5 months pregnant, that's when she was seen the last time. That's when the grandmother, saw the kids, her grandchildren, for the last time. It's actually been 2 months since, and I think Malehya has actually the birth date on her. I'm not going to look it up. So maybe she was 5 or 6 months pregnant. And Daniel said, "You're not going there. I don't want you to go there." And he started to show his true side. 5 months pregnant, let's say like this. And that's no surprise to me. Before, he hated it when she went there. I can guarantee you that. But he didn't want to say anything. He didn't want to seem controlling. He didn't want to risk an argument. But he felt safe when she was pregnant with his child. And I think that's when, little by little, Malehya more and more accepted being controlled by him. And it became the norm. It became normalized to the degree where he now, even though he says, "I love you, I love her, and I want her back," he continues to put her down. Isn't that insane? How he puts her down and in the same conversation talks about he wants her back and he loves her. That is indicating a really, sort of like a very manipulative and a very unhealthy, toxic relationship, man. Because even if he doesn't mean it, you would expect him to say very nice things about her to get her back, right? But he doesn't feel the need to do that. You're nothing, but now come back to me because I love you. You're lucky.
And again, it's just, they start using little tactics on you and try to control. And, I'm not one of those ones that likes to be controlled, but you kind of almost just be like, sometimes you just can't help it. You're just like, fine, so I won't go out then. Whatever,
right.
But it's a way of trying to control or shift blame and stuff like that. Like I said, anyone that's been in these type of relationship, they know full well when
fine, I'm not going to correct my kids at all. If you don't like it, how I'm talking to my children, if you think I'm too soft with them, fine, forget it. I'm just not gonna tell them anything. I don't care what they're doing. Then you handle it. Yeah, that sounds about right.
People try to manipulate, gaslight, twist and turn, and blame it on you and stuff like that. So looking at it from all sides, guys. Now, I do want to show this. And Charmaine, do you need to get going? Because this is longer than what I thought. It's going to be a little bit longer. Do you need to get going?
I need to go to Vernon to get back in time for a later live. So.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
We're going to be going on at 3:00 anyway.
Yeah, I'll be back by then if I need right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank you.
Everybody.
Okay.
Good night.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a live. So anyone that is coming into this, okay, so Durwood, okay, which again, just to explain, Malehya's grandmother is Patty. Durwood is a cousin to Patty, which would make this Malehya's, so Durwood would be, not real name, Durwood would be the first cousin. Daniel's mother is Janie McKenzie. This is Daniel's cousin, Logan. Okay, so this is the one that Malehya was going to hand off. They were going to hand off to Logan. That I don't want image from.
Okay. So, guys, I think I'm going to end this right now. And yeah, these are the messages. I hope there'll be more messages we haven't seen. And I have a feeling that Daniel cannot shut up. Daniel needs to talk. And he will talk more. Daniel cannot stand being there by himself in the trailer. And he cannot stay away from looking what people are saying online. And for all I know, he may be watching right now. We know that this person that they mentioned was in my chat the other day, right? So, yeah, I got a few questions. I see you later. Please leave me a comment. Let me know if something new is happening. Anybody wants to get in touch, it's iamfiretown@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to see you next time.